Those who knew her say she was lovable and a happy child. Tonight, a Central Kentucky community mourns the loss of a little girl killed in a crash.
Issuing a default letter is not the answer.
The developer of Centrepointe fires back at the Urban County Council after they demand he fill in the hole in that block.
Why police charge a bus driver after they say 2 children brought guns to a Knox County elementary school today.
Tracking, alerting, protecting. This is WKYT News at 11.
Good evening to you. They were on their way home to go to a funeral, but a Bourbon County family's trip ended with a crash in West Virginia, and police say a 4-year-old girl was killed.
The crash happened early this morning on Interstate 79 in Braxton County, north of Charleston. Tonight, Monique Blair talked to a close family friend who says the young girl called him Papa. She's at the live desk with our top story at 11. Monique?
Stephen Jackson tells me he knew the little girl well, and she came from the type of family who will do anything they can to help others out. And he says now more than ever, this family is going to need the support of those around them.
It's hard to take right now.
Today was an emotional day for Stephen Jackson.
We all got met about 8 years ago and connected just like family.
The group of people who Jackson calls his family were on their way back home this morning to Bourbon County from a trip out east.
And they was on their way back to come to the funeral.
Today was his mom's funeral, but his family didn't make it to the funeral. West Virginia police say 8 people were in an SUV on Interstate 79 this morning when the driver lost control, ran into a median, and rolled 4 times before coming to a stop. Police say a 4-year-old little girl was pronounced dead at the scene.
Katie Bug didn't make it.
Authorities have not released the name of the victim, but Jackson tells us her name was Caitlin Elizabeth Rojas.
I call her Katie Bug. She was just precious too. Every time she'd see me, she'd holler Papa.
Jackson tells us Caitlin was lovable, outgoing, and high-spirited. And now for a family that is already very close, he says this tragedy will only make them closer.
They would do anything for us they could or help anybody they could.
Now Jackson tells me Caitlin celebrated her 4th birthday on March 17th, and she went to Bourbon County Head Start for preschool. At the live desk, Monique Blair, WKYT.
Jackson tells us Caitlin's mother suffered a few broken vertebrae and is still in the hospital. He says that Caitlin's 2 sisters were also in that vehicle, but he says they were able to walk away with a few scrapes and bruises.
He says city leaders are sending the wrong message about his project. Tonight, the developer of Centrepointe in downtown Lexington addressed the Urban County Council. It comes 2 days after the city sent Dudley Webb a letter demanding he fill in the Centrepointe block because it's been empty for too long. This is a live look right now at Centrepointe. Garrett Weimer has the story new at 11.
The war of words on the future of Centrepointe exchanged in letters over the past week between city and developer found a new battlefield Thursday night. Council chambers.
Issuing a default letter is not the answer. It sends the wrong message to our lenders, to our participants, to our tenants.
Webb asked council to withdraw their letter, saying he's, quote, so close to closing the deals to get the money needed to move the project forward. But critics of the project also spoke, saying that's an excuse the city has heard time and time again.
We don't need to keep condoning this kind of behavior on the part of the developer. We don't need to keep condoning this kind of abuse of our development incentives.
As for the future of Centrepointe, there may still be a lot up in the air, but Webb says they aren't giving up.
Nobody in their right mind in this community that I know of would come down here and do this except us, and because we love the community, we want it to be the best that it can be, and we think it'll have a lasting impact.
Webb told council that with all the money that has already gone into the Centrepointe project, he says they've shown, quote, a substantial commitment to getting it done. In Lexington, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
Webb says the big question everybody wants to know is when they'll break ground on the next step. While he didn't answer that tonight, he told council he had estimated being able to make a major announcement mid-May. He says he stands by that timetable.
Tonight, police have charged a school bus driver in connection to guns brought to a Knox County elementary school. State police arrested Charles Huntz and charged him with facilitation to unlawfully possess a weapon on school property. Police say that two brothers, ages 6 and 7, brought the guns from home this morning. They're students at DeWitt Elementary. Police say that one of the guns was loaded. Police say the children rode a bus this morning, and a student told the bus driver, Charles Huntz, about the guns before the bus arrived at school. But they say the bus driver never reported it. Police say the boys brought the guns for show and tell, thinking that they were toys.
They're very young. They had no idea of what could potentially happened. And again, you know, they had no intention to harm anyone.
Police also charged the children's parents, John and Melissa Jackson, with endangering the welfare of a minor. Police say the children were placed with their grandparents.
Investigators think an elderly man found dead in Lake Cumberland likely drowned. The Pulaski County Sheriff's Office says 88-year-old Eugene Jones was reported missing last night. Deputies say they found his pickup at the end of Richardson Lane, but no sign of Jones. Today, a dive team searched nearby Lake Cumberland and found Jones's body about 6 tonight. Investigators do not suspect foul play. They think Jones accidentally drowned.
You may have heard some thunder out there tonight. Some storms moving across parts of the bluegrass tonight, dropping hail at times. Sean sent us this eyewitness video from Lancaster. He says that hail covered a parking lot off of Highway 52 just before 7 o'clock tonight. But just in time for Oaks and Derby, our weather is looking a lot better. Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey has an early look at the forecast. It sounds great, Chris.
Yeah, it looks a whole lot better, Sam, as we go into Kentucky Derby weekend. We're ready to flip the calendar from an ugly April into a much better looking May. We still have a little cloud cover out there tonight on Live First Alert Defender. Now, the showers and storms from earlier this evening beginning to wind down, though. On Defender, I've got everything in motion here to show you how we're getting a little bit of a circulation coming around an upper level low. So we're actually going to look toward the north tonight for a little more in the way of some cloud cover and the potential for another spotty shower or two, especially northern and eastern parts of the state. But Live First Alert Defender looks a whole lot better. Try to shorten it up for you. You get the idea. It looks good tonight across the entire area. Those hail-producing thunderstorms from earlier dropping temperatures quickly into the 40s, and those temperatures are basically holding now into the 40s. Look at our Somerset temperature at 41 degrees already. We're going to see some pockets of upper 30s showing up tonight. Winds, thankfully, should remain a little on the gusty side to preclude any frost development. Let's take you through the overnight into the day tomorrow. Some upper 30s to low 40s in the morning. Tomorrow noontime, we're starting to break out of the clouds into the sunshine with those temperatures making a run into the upper 60s. Guys, when I come back, focusing on the forecast for the weekend and especially next week, we're going to say a hearty hello way early this year to summertime. Big time temperature warm up is on the way.
Thank you, Chris. And today, President Obama signed a disaster declaration for Kentucky in response to the winter storms that hit the bluegrass back in February. That opens up federal money to help with recovery efforts. The storms dropped heavy snow in much of Kentucky and also triggered flooding and mudslides. For more on what this declaration covers, go to our website, WKYT.com.
Tonight, leaders of the community gathered to talk about ways to make Lexington safer. The NAACP teamed up with Lexington police and corrections leaders for a town hall forum at Winburn Middle School. Public safety was one of the main topics of tonight's forum, but organizers say this was planned before a recent string of violence in Lexington. They say the forum was productive, but more needs to be done.
This is serious. And you know, we talk about somebody's life. That's really serious. You can't put a price tag on that. So it's going to take time. It's going to take effort. We're ready.
Lexington Police Chief Mark Barnard was among those who spoke at tonight's forum. Organizers also used part of the forum to discuss ways people who have spent time in jail can get back into the workforce. Former UK football player Bud Dupree now knows who he'll be playing for in the NFL.
Had to be a little patient tonight. He was selected in the first round of the NFL draft, but he didn't hear his name called until about a half hour ago. Rob Bromley joins us with more on Bud Dupree. Rob?
Bud Dupree invited to Chicago for tonight's NFL draft. He was hopeful of hearing his name called in the first round, and it came shortly after 10:30.
With the 22nd pick in the 2015 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Bud Dupree, linebacker, Kentucky.
So there he is in that red suit out of Irwinton, Georgia. He came a long way at Kentucky, playing under both Joker Phillips and Mark Stoops, getting hugs there from his family, then on stage with the commissioner, Roger Goodell. Dupree finished his senior season with 7.5 sacks, 23.5 for his career, most of any active SEC player. Big, big night for him. And he gets to play for one of the most storied franchises in the league, the Pittsburgh Steelers. More on the draft coming up shortly in sports.
All right, we will see you then, Rob. Thank you. A Central Kentucky woman says she is lucky to be alive. She says her husband shot her at their home, but in 9 minutes, how she hopes this will help change his life.
And later, why one of the candidates for Kentucky governor is apologizing to one of the men running against him. She says she has been helping him with his mental illness for years, but a Powell County woman says her husband shot her.
Police say Gary Morrison told them he shot his wife Jan because she was trying to put him in a psychiatric hospital, but Jan Morrison told us she was just standing by a sink at the time. She wasn't seriously injured and was treated and released from the hospital. She says she hopes the shooting will lead to her husband getting the help he needs.
It's a cry for help from him, and he's flared up before, but we've always worked it out, and but I can't work it out with the gun pointed at me.
Police charged Gary Morrison with assault. He did not want to talk to us from jail today.
A man from eastern Kentucky has died in a work-related accident in Illinois. Investigators say that 20-year-old James Campbell of Prestonsburg died this morning. He worked for the R.J. Corman Company. The Ogle County, Illinois Sheriff's Office says that Campbell was on an ATV next to the railroad tracks when a boom arm being used to pick up railroad spikes hit the ATV. Investigators say that Campbell fell off the ATV, suffered a head injury, and later died. 8 students had to be taken to the hospital today after a crash involving a school bus in Scott County. It happened this afternoon on Double Culvert Road. According to the Georgetown News Graphic, a pickup rear-ended the school bus. School leaders say 8 children on the bus went to the hospital as a precaution, but they did not have any serious injuries.
A Harlan County family has a mess to clean up at their home tonight because of a tree. They say strong winds caused a tree to fall onto the house in the Verda community. They say most of the damage is in the kitchen. The family tells us they were at home when that tree fell.
I was standing on the porch and my boyfriend had heard it and he took off running out in the yard, and when it fell I was still on the porch and I just started screaming.
No one was injured when that tree fell. The family tells us they're not sure how much it's going to cost to fix the damage.
Tonight, Republican candidate for governor Hal Heiner has apologized to one of the men running against him. This comes after email surfaced linking a Heiner campaign associate with a blogger who accused another Republican candidate, James Comer, of committing a crime while in college. In a statement, Hal Heiner apologized to Comer but did not admit direct involvement. He called the rumors, quote, unchristian. Comer said he's disappointed in Heiner but is focused on the primary. Matt Bevin and Will T. Scott are also running in the Republican primary for governor.
Showers and storms did not stop a Kentucky Derby Week tradition in Louisville tonight. The 60th annual Pegasus Parade marched down Broadway in downtown Louisville tonight. Former University of Louisville quarterback Teddy Bridgewater was the grand marshal. Around 100 floats along with bands and balloons were in this year's parade. The theme was Best of Louisville. Always a good time for folks there.
It is. Great day coming up.